Segment 3, Sunny Hirsch Election Special. Sunny Hirsch is our producer, our entire technical crew. We feel it's so important that you get to know as many candidates as you possibly can, and we're doing at least 5 shows that'll be election specials that'll be airing not just on various cable stations throughout the city in the north and northwest suburbs, but also everything's going to be on YouTube. In my spare time, I'm publisher of Jewish Chicago. Jewish Chicago at this point is out on the street. It's available free. Over 60,000 readers, plus a web presence that's increasingly large, multiplying all the time. And the funny thing is, we're finding more and more that actually non-Jewish people are picking it up too, because we actually cover certain races in detail more than any other paper. And one of them in particular is the judiciary. And if you consider how important it is, okay, a judge can be in your life. I mean, the truth of the matter is, a U.S. Senator may not affect you at all, but a judge can take your child away, affect your divorce, affect the judgment on your house, take your freedom away, or even take your life. There's so many things. So many people, 40% of people who get to the bottom of the ballot don't vote for judge. You ought to start there first and go from there. And somebody we have as our guest right now who is very highly rated by the bar associations, very highly thought of by a number of people. And on a lighter note, somebody that Abden Palish has actually said has the best hair of any judge going. And as a matter of fact, our guest on next week's show, Patrick Daley Thompson, said he had the best hair in all of politics. Judge Jesse Reyes, how are you?
Pleasure. It's always a pleasure to be on your program.
First of all, thank you. It's my pleasure. And I'd like you to tell us a little something about yourself.
Well, I'm a candidate for the Illinois Appellate Court. I'm running in the Sheila O'Brien vacancy. I've been endorsed by the Cook County Democratic Party. I've also been fortunate enough to have been endorsed by Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky and Commissioner Larry Sufferton. In terms of my bar ratings, I did receive a highly recommended from the Decalogue Society of Lawyers. And I've been a judge for over 14 years. I've had an opportunity to preside over a variety of different matters, criminal, civil, and misdemeanor. Presided over jury trials. I was in traffic court, domestic violence court. I was in Markham, and I had the opportunity to sit in a variety of different assignments throughout the county on the branch courts. And I've published considerably. I've been published nationally, locally, and statewide as well.
And very popular, I might add, too, among the judicial community. And, everybody just always says nice things about you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure. I'm honored.
Tell us about your background before you became a judge.
Well, before I became a judge, I was a trial lawyer. I tried cases in federal court and in state court. I tried cases with regards to the City of Chicago and the Board of Education. And prior to going to the City of Chicago, I was in private practice doing personal injury and workers' comp, representing the plaintiffs, the workers.
Very good. Now you're making the move from circuit court to appellate court. What is the difference between circuit court and appellate court?
Well, the appellate court is the safety net. It is the safety net within regards to the judicial process. When someone has a matter at the trial level and they're not satisfied with the outcome of the trial level, they can take it up to the appellate court, so they could appeal it. And at that point in time, it's assigned to a panel, and then the panel of justices will take a look at the trial record. They'll, in some cases, entertain oral arguments. They'll provide an opportunity for the litigants to present their oral arguments, and then after hearing the oral arguments and then also the written submissions, the justices then will make a determination whether or not there was error in the trial level or not. Or sometimes what they'll do is they'll remand a case with further instructions to the trial court judge. Maybe it wasn't necessarily error in terms of evidentiary or statutory error, but there might have been something else that occurred procedurally, and they'll advise the trial court judge that they need to hear the case again and try the matter again.
Very good. What is it that makes you want to go to the appellate court?
Well, I've always been a student of the law. I've loved reading, loved writing, and in my current position in terms of the Chancery Division, I've had an opportunity to do a lot of reading and writing. I've written extensively in many of opinions with regards to the cases that have been in front of me. Also, I co-wrote the first bench book on the mortgage foreclosure law along with my colleague Carolyn Quinn. So I enjoy writing. And I enjoy reading, and I enjoy the challenge of interpreting statutes and case law.
Wow, that sounds pretty impressive, and it's definitely a big step up. I mean, there's only, 24 appellate judges in the county?
Right, and what happens is they sit on panels of 3 when they hear oral arguments.
Now I'm told that they actually appoint 4 people, and you don't know which 3 you're going to get.
Right, exactly, right. So there are 4 in a section, but then when the case is heard in terms of oral argument, there's 3, and you're right, they don't know which 3 it'll be, but it's an interesting process, and I think it's also important for people to realize that it's an important process, because the majority of the cases that are resolved in this state and in this county are sometimes resolved at the appellate level. The Supreme Court, maybe it will take about 10% of the cases that are appealed. So the majority of the cases that are appealed in Cook County and in the state are resolved at the appellate level. So it's an important position, and it's an important assignment.
No, there's no question about it, and you use the word safety net. That sounds like exactly the right word for what you're doing.
Yes, it's a safety net in the sense that it's kind of like the last opportunity for litigants to be able to get justice, to be able to present their case one more time in front of the court, and to be able to get a resolution of the issues that they presented initially at the trial level.
No, very good. So at this point, I mean, now there's laws about what you can do on a campaign. It's not like, you're running for alderman or state senator and you can't promise people 40 acres and a mule.
Right.
Or you can't hey, your brother-in-law will get a really good job if you vote for me. That kind of stuff doesn't not only doesn't go, you can't even come within like 20 miles of that kind of thing.
Right. We cannot promise anything with regards to running as a candidate when you're running for a judicial position. But the one thing that we can promise is that we would be fair, we'll be objective, and that's what I promise, is that I'll be fair and objective. And one of the things that I also bring to this position is the fact that I'm very involved in the community at large. I participate in forums, I participate in the Bar Association in terms of speaking, and I get out into the schools and I talk to the students and to the parents, and I become aware of some of the issues and concerns that they have. It's one thing to be on the bench and to make a determination, but when you're out in the public, you get a different perspective of what people are going through in their day-to-day lives. And that's something else additionally that I bring. The fact that I'm very involved in the community at large and participating with the public. And I'm sensitive to many of the issues that everybody deals with on a regular basis.
Yeah, and one thing I'll tell people from getting to know you, and I've known you, I knew you when you ran successfully last time, and I've also seen you with things like Tom Serafin's Bash the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, which is one of my favorite parties actually it's my favorite party of the year, period. I just absolutely love it. Is, you really always struck me as just being like a real genuine human being, which a lot of people in public life are not.
Oh, thank you.
And that's a very important thing.
Thank you.
So, I mean, how many events do you go to in a given night?
I'll go to maybe about 4 to 5 events a night.
Wow.
But I think it's important because as a candidate, and particularly as a judicial candidate, you want to get out there, you want to meet the voters, because number one, unfortunately, as you mentioned earlier, many voters do not go to the back of the ballot and they don't vote for the judges. And on many occasions, they'll see a judge before they'll see their senator, they'll see their congressperson. So the judicial ballot is a very important ballot, and it's an important process for the voters to meet the candidates that are running for judicial office, to determine, are you the type of person that they want on the bench? And I feel that it's important to go out and meet as many of the voters as possible, present my credentials, and also give them an opportunity to ask me questions that they may have of judges with regards to what type of judge is it that you will be when you're on the bench. And it's something that I've always done also as a public servant. I was president of the Illinois Judges Association.
Wow.
And I was president of the Illinois Judges Foundation, and so I'm always committed to back to the community, because I think it's important, number one, not to forget where you came from, and number two, to always help those that are trying to get where you're getting. One of the programs that we implemented when I was with the Judges Association was a book drive.
We're starting to run out of time. So.
Okay, and that was part just to help the public and the young people to reach the dreams that they would love to get to one day.
I'll tell you, you're always very impressive, and you're always trying to help people. That's a very admirable quality. If people would like to contact your campaign or check you out on the web? Sure.
Well, on the website, it's Reyes for the AppellateCourt.com. Email address is electjessegreyes@gmail.com. Our telephone number for our campaign is 312-848-7795.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Sonny
It's always a
Hirsch,
pleasure.
our producer. It's my pleasure. Sonny's pleasure. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Bye-bye.